Hello everyone, and welcome to my corner of the world, and welcome to November's card class to go, and this is the fourth in the series of 4 for November 2018. And the stamp set that I chose to use this month was the One for All stamp set, so all 4 cards use this stamp set. If you chose option 1, then you will have received a brand new stamp set plus a brand new ink pad, the Early Espresso ink pad. You would have had the supplies to make 2 sets of this card, plus access to these videos and the PDF instructions. If you opted for option 2, you will have received the supplies to make 2 cards plus access to the videos and the PDFs. And if you opted for option 3, then you will have had access to these videos and the PDFs. So as I say, this is the card that we're going to be making in this video, and I'm going to make a start on showing you how that's done. So you will have received the supplies for 2 cards in your pack, and you will have the card base. You will have a quarter sheet. This is very vanilla. This is going to be the inside of your card. Then a strip of Share What You Love designer series paper. So these cards were all designed using this pack of DSP. You'll have a banner in vanilla, as well as a small one in silver glimmer paper, your envelope, and then 2 pieces of ribbon. So I'm going to set aside for a moment the embellishments, and we're going to work on our stamping. So we're going to need these 2 pieces of cardstock. So for this one, we're going to be using Have the Best Day Ever stamp. So we're going to ink it up, and when you ink up, just double check to make sure you've got sufficient ink on the stamp. If not, perhaps just give it a little wiggle and it'll pick up a little bit more of the ink. I like to stamp this sideways with these longer ones, and you want to stamp so that the it's down toward the flag end of this banner. And if you aim to get these 2 bicycle wheels in the point, then you will be in the right place. There we go. So there's our banner. So the next thing I'm going to do is to decorate the inside layer for the card. We're going to be using this little curly Q, and that comes from another stamp set, a stamp in the set, the Thank You So Much stamp. You can see it's got this lovely pretty curly Q here that we're going to take advantage of. And I'm going to share a masking technique with you. So we only want the curly Q, we don't want the words, so we're going to take a little piece of sticky tape, and we're going to mask off the words. And I'm just going to put a couple of pieces in there like this, and then we're just going to get the ink pad and just ink up the top portion like that. And you'll see that there's ink on the tape, but we're going to remove that, set it aside somewhere safe so we don't get messy. And then we're just going to take the piece of card and just going to stamp to the bottom like that, so we get our lovely curly bit. And also I've done the same but ahead of time on the envelope, and I'm using exactly the same technique. So we finished with our stampings, and we're going to put away the ink so I don't get in a mess, and we're going to start with the assembly. So just fold your card in half along the score line. Use a bone folder if you have one handy, and then with the designer series paper, we're going to stick that to the card there. So I like to use some liquid glue. You can go ahead and use a glue stick or maybe a snail. It's entirely up to you. And you want to stick it so that it's level with the card, the fold on the card, and then comes down the side. You may find that yours is a little longer. Then you can always trim it off if necessary. Then we're going to take the 2 pieces of ribbon and the banner. And the reason that we wanted to set that down nice and low was that we need to be able to put the piece of ribbon toward the top. So I'm going to use some adhesive tape to hold that in place like this, and pop that there, and then bring it round and turn it over. Make sure it's level, and then I'm just going to put another piece of tape the other side just to hold it in place. I find this works better than using snail. It's more permanent and less likely to fall apart when you take your card out of the envelope. One of my biggest fears. Then we're going to take this little silver glimmer paper banner, and you're going to put a couple of glue dots on the front side, and then we're going to attach it to the back of this banner. And I just want to make sure that it doesn't go down too low, so I'm going to use my card as a guide here. Perhaps it's a weeny bit too low there, so I'm just going to bring it up, but make sure it's centered on this banner. Perfect. And then some dimensionals on the back. Now I like to put 5, 1 on each corner, 1 in the middle. I'm going to also just attach that so that it catches on my glimmer paper banner. And then I think what I might do, just to make absolutely sure, is to just stick one there. And then by just dinging my nail in the center, it just lifts the edge of the dimensionals up slightly, so it's easier to get the backing off. And then I'm going to put this so that it doesn't mask off too much of my lovely designer series paper. Press firmly. Then I'm going to take this piece of ribbon and I'm going to slip it underneath the one that I've already attached, and I'm just going to tie a single knot. Those of you who watch my videos regularly may have seen I do have a video on doing these faux knots. And then just with a nice pair of sharp ribbon scissors, I'm just going to trim that off like that. Then with my liquid adhesive again, I'm just going to attach the liner into the main card. I like to use a liner because it gives me something to write on. It's easier to see on these darker cards, unless maybe you use a white or maybe a silver pen. Also in your pack you will have some metallic pearls, and you're just going to dot a few on the card. I'm using my pick your tool. It's got a little putty end, and if you just put it on your pearl and just give it a flick, it will pick it up, and then you'll be able to position it exactly where you want it, like that. It's so handy. And then I think maybe just a couple more, and oh, look at that, it's just gone belly up, but I'm going to just use the end, and there. So there we have the 4th card in this month's class. Well, I'd really love to thank you very much for participating in the class. I hope you've enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.